Hello, agency staff. This video is extremely important. You're watching this because your agent purchased Agency MVP. And one of the things we did when we demoed Agency MVP to your agent is show off how powerful and how important using a smart lead management tool is in your office and how this grows over time. One of the disconnects that happen is agency staff don't get to see this buy-in until now. So we've created this video so that you can see how Agency MVP grows over time. The problem is when you start using Agency MVP from the beginning, the algorithms aren't as important until you start to get a lot of people built up into your system. Because if you only have 5 or 10 quotes to follow up with the first week that you're using MVP, you might look at it and go, well, this is no different than a simple list. So why are we even using this? It's taking me 2 or 3 minutes of my time. But what I need to show you is why, as you continually use MVP properly and follow our workflows, how crazy awesome Agency MVP becomes over time. So first I want to show you what problem in your office is Agency MVP solving for you specifically. And that's the law of diminishing returns. We are a high quote volume, low commission business. That's the way it is. So we have to pump up a lot of quote volume in order to make enough money. So the problem with that though is if you're filling out paper in your office or if you're typing your prospects information straight into a rating system, what happens is as you start to quote people, and let's say from the very beginning, you start to accumulate quotes not closed. So these are people that you quoted that you didn't get them back on the phone. They're hard to get a hold of. And 6 months in, 12 months in, you've accumulated a lot of quotes not closed. And the problem with this is that we know that there's valuable households within these lists, filing cabinets, leads lists in your systems. But how many times do you feel like people are falling through the cracks? And then here's the really big thing in your office you need to understand as staff. How much time do you think you waste calling all of the wrong ones back first? Here's an example. Let's say you're calling a quotes not closed list or an X-date list. You get somebody on the phone. You give them another quote. It takes you 30 minutes only to find out you're still not competitive and probably by a large margin. How many times does that happen to you? Agency MVP is going to save you a ton of time from wasting calling back the wrong ones first, because what we do is we know there's valuable households within your stacks of paper, within your leads lists. MVP ranks the most valuable and most likely to close every day in your pipeline to the very top. Think of it as the cream rises to the top. And so what I want you to remember is when you first start using MVP, if you only added 10 quotes in a week, you can call all 10 of those people. So you don't necessarily need an algorithm at that point. But 3 months in, 6 months in, especially a year in, can you call an entire year's worth of quotes not closed and keep up with all of your incoming new quotes? But how much time are you going to waste in the interim? So this is what you really have to understand with MVP. The longer you use it, the more powerful it becomes, okay? And so just to give you an idea of how it works, is we have algorithms in the background that are taking the data that you enter and ranking it because of higher premiums, multi-line opportunities, higher commission potential, competitive rates, and some other factors like timing of claims falling off. Claims falling off is one of the most powerful follow-up methods that you can find. And here's the reason why, is that if you're quoting about 50 households in a month, some of you might be quoting a lot more than that. And if that's the case, you should do some math along with me because it's pretty dramatic. About 40%, if not 50% of all of those 50 households are going to have an auto claim within the last 3 years. That means that 20 households a month you couldn't close today. But if you've ever quoted somebody right when a claim had fallen off, you're instantly competitive, but you only have until they get their next renewal. Because if they get their next renewal, that renewal is going to have that surcharge removed. And so we are closing about 50% of all of our new business is just because of claims falling off. My producers are crushing it in a hard rate environment in our area because of that one metric. Also because of things like competitive rates and household members. So if we have a teenage driver that becomes an adult, MVP ranks them higher. Time of day settings. And then, that might be 20 claims in 1 month falling off, but we know that it could fall off within 36 months, a 3-year period. That means over 720 households. How would you like in 3 years from using MVP to have 720 fire hot prospects that if you get them on the phone, they're closed because you're saving them, $500 to $1,200 is what our average is when a claim falls off. I mean, it becomes a no-brainer. It becomes super simple. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, my current system let me use a task reminder system, can you physically manage 720 tasks a day? Because that's the problem with the task reminder system, is it gets to a point of diminishing returns where you can't manually manage every single task. And so it just becomes a big mess and they get lost in the past. And so Agency MVP automatically rolls forward. And let me show you what I'm talking about. So this is our calling view. What you'll see when you log into your MVP account is your quoted calling view. I don't want to go through a tutorial, so you're going to go through our boot camp. But what's really important here is I want to show you what MVP will look like in the future, so you can think to yourself as you are starting to learn how to use it. You might have a little bit of frustration, and you might, if you follow our boot camp, people that go through the boot camp all 5 days have an amazing experience and are not frustrated with MVP, right? But if you just jump in here and skip our boot camp, skip our training, you are going to be frustrated because there's some tips and tricks and some workflows that you need to follow in order to get the most out of MVP. So in here, you have my most valuable, most likely to close quoted prospects ranked. And you can see higher premium, we're saving them money. And if I start scrolling down, you got claims falling off, we're saving people money, we're higher preferred households. If I go to my page 3, you have way more expensive, non-standard, multi-line maybe, but mostly monoline households, but you're just not competitive. So wouldn't you not want to call these people and instead call all of the ones that you can close? This is why my producers are the top in the country. Because just think about your day. At a year from now, if you've quoted 1,000 people and you can only call 50 in a day, wouldn't you much rather call the most competitive, most valuable, highest commission, easiest to close prospects every day? Because all you do from here is just start calling from the top down. Some really cool features that we have built in that you're going to learn how to use is our quote comparison. When you fill out our quote sheet, you can text or email this URL, this quote, to your prospects. And they can click on a link and they're looking at the exact same web page that you are. Also, this is live updating, which means if you go into the prospect's account and make any changes in their profile with their coverages and pricing, then you hit save and this will be live updated. And all you have to do is say, hey, Mr. and Ms. Prospect, would you please hit the refresh button on your browser? They hit refresh, the page updates, and there's the new changes. Live instant updating. Then we also have fully integrated texting built into MVP. So you can text PDFs. Now it's 2 pages long is the maximum. You can have them text you photos. We love getting declaration pages from people because they won't white things out. So, hey, Mr. Ms. Client, if you're fact finding and filling out their quote sheet that we're going to show you how to fill in, you're going to say, do you happen to have a declaration page anywhere near you? If they do, send them a text message and ask them to reply back with a photo, and then you'll get an alert notification that you got an incoming text. You open up the image, you can open it up in a new tab, you can save that image, zoom in, zoom out if that was a deck page. So it's really convenient. You can click on their name and open up their account from anywhere. So if I'm on the dashboard, click on their name, I go straight into their account. Fully integrated and cross-selling opportunities. So if I sell this person their auto, but don't sell their home, when I hit mark as sold, that home goes to the cross-sell home section. So now think of MVP as a smart, every time I get into my sales, I log in the morning. I just start calling from the top down. You have different calling views, and think of this as a sales funnel. They go from a lead to a prospect to cross-sell opportunities. It's a sales funnel. And each one of these sales funnels has different calling views that you can call from. But the whole point is as this builds over time, you're always going to be first working on the most valuable, most likely to close. And you can see my staff, there's a dashboard where we're going to teach your agent and you how to manage what you're doing daily. But I have a producer right now that's about $60,000 in home and auto premium sold within the last 30 days. Wouldn't you love to sell $60,000 in premium? I have other producer doing about 35. She averages about 40, but she's been on vacation, right? So guys, girls, this system, as you use it over time, you know, what I was saying earlier, if I clicked on my quoted and I'm a brand new user and I only have 5 people in here, of course you're not going to feel like MVP is any different than anything else besides the other features like texting a quote comparison, how cool that is, and selling on value and seeing. You can actually see if they looked at your quote comparison, by the way. So if you don't get a hold of somebody and you text them that quote link and they click on it, you can see that they engaged in the quote link. Now, do not call them and say, hey, I noticed you looking at my quote, because that's really creepy. But what I want you to understand is if you only have 5 or 10 people in this calling view because you're a brand new user, you're right. It's not that powerful of an algorithm because you can call everybody. You can call down this list. And as you call, people disappear for the day and show up tomorrow. Again, we're going to show you how to use MVP easily in our boot camp. But you know, the first 30 days, I want you to remember the data that you're giving it is going to empower you at becoming extremely efficient in saving time and making a lot more money in the future. And then your agent, again, is going to have data about all of the prospects where you're competitive, where you're not in your area, what marketing is working. It's learning from all of the prospects, and it's reshuffling your ranking every single day. So the buy-in for you as the producer, CSR, marketer, the buy-in to you is that your system, as you use it, continually gets smarter, making your agency scalable. And I don't know about you, but I love working for winning teams. And so you need to use Agency MVP, follow our processes and our methods, and get into our boot camp with Samantha. So Samantha's email address is samantha@agencymvp.com. You can also contact us at our phone number, 817-576-8785. You can find that at our website, agencymvp.com, at the bottom. You can also send us a message when you log in, or when you go to our website, agencymvp.com. There will be a chat window that pops up. You can send us chat messages through that as well. Again, Samantha@agencymvp.com. You're going to get a welcome email, or your agent did, to register you for the boot camp. Please respect and just dive in. Don't resist it, because with MVP, you have to be all in, or these algorithms will not work. It's only as smart as the data you give it. We're excited to watch you grow and excited to watch you make a lot more sales with Agency MVP.